All right, guys. Now that you have just done your warm outreach, let's say you want to scale a bit more and you want to systemize your processes a bit more. Now we're going to get into how to pick a niche as a beginner. And I want you to forget everything you've heard about niching down. When you're just starting out, that's the last thing you should really be doing. Your only job is to find literally any business willing to work with you as long as they meet any specific economic criteria. All right? Don't overthink it. That's what most people do. If you watch countless YouTube videos telling you to niche down a step one and they claim that makes getting clients easier, that's not true. The problem is most of those people are broke and have no idea what they're talking about. The reality is that first, initially, when you're selling to, who you're selling to now won't be who you're selling to in 6 months. It's really important to understand that. It can always change. You'll work with dozens of clients before you figure out what you're actually good at. This is an evolving process, not a one-time decision. And that's the biggest thing I want to make sure you take away. All right? And what a niche really is niching into people that can afford to pay you, which just means sell to people who sell expensive stuff. $10,000 products, $1,000 a month services, all that stuff. High ticket items, make sure if someone's selling high ticket items, then they can pay you and you can get a lot more percentage out of it. Okay. That's how you justify making an investment. And what matters is the economic parameters. Basically, obsessing over industry or vertical doesn't really matter. You just pick a couple, 2 to 5, and then indicate to a business that, that can work with you or afford to work with you, can get results. You, at this point, when you're just starting out, work with anyone who qualifies. That's it. If they hit the parameters, just work with them. It doesn't matter if they're dental implants, luxury cars, or enterprise software. Chase the money, not the perfect industry. This will change over time. Okay? And the reason this is important is because of this concept, and it's called the delta. And this is kind of funny, is because the willingness of somebody to pay you for marketing is a function of the delta between their knowledge of marketing versus your knowledge of marketing. What does that mean? That means you probably trust me because my experience in what I'm teaching you right now is more than yours. Does that make sense? Someone's willingness to pay you for anything in particular, any particular domain, depends on the perceived status differential compared to you. The bigger the gap between what you know and what they know, the more they'll pay you. This is why you should avoid people like coaches, consultants, internet marketers when starting out. They have been inundated with these kind of offers and every offer under the sun. Those are one of the most sophisticated markets on earth. They already know how to also market intimately. So you selling anything to them becomes really, really tough. Your delta becomes nearly zero. And your chances of landing them as a client also drop. Okay? That's the trap that most people initially fall into. Right? Since you're familiar with these internet marketers, coaches, consultants, and that's what other people say, they think it'll work for people with no experience, and it doesn't. You're choosing to compete on one of the most sophisticated, crowded markets. So don't do that. The status delta is supposed to be high. So what does that mean? Okay. So what you want to do is go after people like dentists, lawyers, manufacturers, specialty contractors, people who are really good at their craft but have no clue how to market or have no clue about AI, invoice, etc. These are like financial services, mortgages, all these guys, insurance, home services. These are much better for you to go for than people like coaches, consultants, or marketing agencies. Okay. And what you can do is literally you can use AI to find these niches. And I'm going to show you this in another video. But now you don't need to spend weeks manually doing the research and understanding people's pain points. AI can do the heavy lifting for you if you know how to use it correctly. And I'll show you. So I made a doc about this with all the resources and AI outputs. Right? So make sure you use that. So the prompts are also embedded in the cards below. I'll show you them, and you'll get to access everything. So this is what I use. Surprisingly, I use Manus, and it's actually really good, and it's gotten much better. These things always change, but Manus right now is fantastic. So you want to choose the most powerful, deep research type models, and don't cheap out. And use these to do all your research for you, so you don't have to do the stuff. Like here, luxury travel agencies was a good niche. So you can just come here, and I'll leave these below, but you can just open up and you can see the whole conversation. Boom. And what I want you to do is actually just, rather than looking at this, and you see Manus actually uses a computer to do all this stuff, I want you to run it. So here is some prompts, and it's very, very well researched, and so you should take advantage of that. So Manus is much better than ChatGPT. So go test for yourself. But the biggest thing I want you to understand is this is your action plan. It's not overthinking it, and just start doing stuff. You don't have to pick a perfect niche. You just have to make sure that the people you're selling to aren't broke. Do they sell expensive stuff? Can they afford you? And use the prompts I gave you to find these niches. And then you can start reaching out in test batches across multiple niches. And you'll learn fast who is responding to you and who you can learn more about. Right? Let that experience guide you. After working with a dozen clients, you'll naturally know everything about that one industry. That's the funny part. Your niche isn't something you pick. It's something you discover by doing the work. All right? So in the next video, I'll show you how to actually do more and find leads for your niche with AI.